Because after you get struck by lightning, there's thunder.
Hello, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is 12:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and welcome to Nicky Stees' Eagles versus Colts Week 11 recap. So if you're new to the Hardcore Sports Network, please do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and drop a like. Also, make sure you do the same over on Nicky Stees' channel if you're seeing this on the Hardcore Sports Network. You haven't gotten to the Nicky Stees channel. Now, let's get into it. And I actually got a comment on my channel for Marcus Boykins. It was around for a while ago with Marquise Blair. And also, so on my channel is exclusive to my channel stream of this. I got a poll asking what would you letter grade would you give the Eagles performance? The options are A, B, C, then D or F. I already got one vote right there for a C. And all right, and we got another comment. Concerning game, but I'll take the win. Yep, we did certainly got the win. And you beat me to it on what I was going to say right there. And really, yep. And as you see right there, we escaped Indianapolis with the 17-16 win. I mean, early on, we came out there, that opening drive, we let up that touchdown. We let Jonathan Taylor run for, what was it again? It was Jonathan Taylor. He had, what was it, 80? What was he had like something? Was it 49 yards on the opening? That's right, 49 yards on the opening drive. We gave up that touchdown right there, and I was like, "Oh no, here we go again with this run defense." And then our first and second offensive drives, we had penalties, shot us in the foot on both those drives, and ruined any chance we had of scoring and getting on the board there. Especially on that second drive where you had 3 penalties, you had 2 of them back to back. And to follow that up, you had the pass interference on Tyree Jackson, which made things worse. So those first couple drives were killed penalties offensively, any chance we had to get into it. So in the first quarter, it was looking ugly. And then finally, second quarter, we managed to move down the field and get on the board. Jalen Hurts helped lead us down the field in that drive. We finally got a field goal out of it. But we also did give up a few field goals too. I mean, it was struggling. It really wasn't until the fourth quarter that the offense got hot. Now, credit to the defense, though. Throughout the game, they did a pretty solid job, especially stopping the run. And you could tell they were much better prepared to stop the run this time around than last game against Washington. Yeah, after defense let up JT Rush touchdown, they adjusted well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right, because after that, sure, we had that one opening drive, but after that, they obviously were prepared, and we saw it right there in the game. So the defense was doing good right there, but offensively, we were struggling until the fourth quarter to really get going. I mean, we had a bunch of stuff happening right there. We had the penalties in the first couple drives, which killed our momentum, like I said. You also had that fumble there on that strip sack by Hurts, and you had the A.J. Brown fumble, and you're like, oh, Jesus, if we could just get out of our way offensively, we could do something. And defense stepped up after letting up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Stupid mistakes, penalties, but Hurts clutched up at the end, which I loved. And that ties into the fourth quarter. So after the first three quarters, the offense was flat. Then finally, the fourth quarter, we got it together. At first, it started early in the fourth quarter with a touchdown to Quez Watkins, helping make up a little bit for that fumble. So that's where we got started offensively in the fourth quarter. And then late in the fourth quarter, we got the drive where we go downfield. Jalen Hurts sneaks it in the end zone for that rushing TD. Hey, MK, how you doing today? Then you got MK headlines coming up later. Looking forward to see what you got to say about that. And thanks for coming in, showing your support. Once again, shout out for letting me into the Hardcore Sports Network. Shout out to Mitch, head of the Hardcore Sports Network. And then finally, fourth quarter, we got it going. Offense, we got that touchdown. We went up 17-16. And then defense stepped up on that final drive. You got Brandon Graham getting that sack, helped make up for that stupid penalty he committed last week on the Monday night game against Washington, which was just stupid. Obviously, you guys know what I'm talking about. But we at least some of our mainly Graham and Watkins helped make up for some of their blunders in the Washington game in the fourth quarter, and we narrowly got out of there with the win. So I'll take the win, but man, I just felt like I still got to wonder offensively what happened, though. I mean, obviously, let's start with penalty. Obviously, it was penalties and a few fumbles hurt us along the way where we could have scored more points. We could have done better, but like, what was it? I mean, I know there were injuries, obviously, play a factor right there. You don't have Dallas Goddard in there. So that obviously was going to play a factor, but you still got to be able to adjust. You got to be able to adjust in these situations. And we struggled to do that. We struggled to adjust. And it cost us right there. Yet, I mean, that just the ridiculous penalties, like I said right there. I mean, clearly we got to do a better job playing disciplines. And that was why I emphasized on the preview late last week on Friday. Hey, look, we have to play disciplined football. No these dumb turnovers and no stupid penalties. But we struggled to do that. But we can still manage to come out with the win. And based on the way we played, we're lucky we were playing the Indianapolis Colts. Because if we were playing the Cowboys or the Giants and we played that way, we would have been in trouble. Or hell, even a team like the Titans or even the Packers, if we played that way against them, we could have lost those games too. So really, we gotta consider ourselves lucky that we got the win right here. And that's why I threw the poll on my channel for what letter grade would you give the Eagles' performance. So if you're not checking this out if you're checking this out on the Hardcore Sports Network, the poll's exclusive to the stream on my channel because I'm able to access the poll through my channel's version of this stream. So if you don't see it on the Hardcore Sports Network, it's available on my channel if you want to vote on it. Yeah, I mean, it was just so yes. So offensively, we got to do better, man. We just got to play better right there. I mean, let's face it. And we kind of got lucky. Like I said, there you saw we like I said, you played a real team. We played that same way against any of those other teams, like I just named, the Cowboys, or even like Kansas City, if we were playing them. Obviously, we don't play them this year, but I'm just throwing that out as an example. If we were playing Kansas City and we played that way, we would have gotten our asses kicked by them, especially on the offensive side. So we got to do better there. I mean, Jalen Hurts, though, to be fair, he did do a solid job passing the ball right there. He had, what was it? What was his pass? Oh, 107 passer rating right there. So yeah, it was 107.1, 18 for 25, 190 yards. So I'm looking at this on the score box on ESPN right there, or the box score right there. So if you're wondering what I'm looking at right there on my screen. And Matt Ryan, he was 23 through 32, and we didn't get a whole lot of pressure on Matt Ryan throughout this game. And he had some time to throw the ball a little bit, but you know what? We were able to get him off the field when we needed to, and we were able to slow down the run. The biggest thing with Matt Ryan is he doesn't have, he's obviously at game manager stage in his career, so that helped us out too, right there. we're going against game manager stage Matt Ryan. And also credit too on defensive side for Namakin Sue and Linville Joseph. They did help us out and they played a significant role there in stopping the run. So those so far, that's paying off right there. Those two moves right there. So the moves we made helped us out on the defensive side. So good job, Howie Roseman, on that one. Good job to Sue and Linville for making this, for helping us out and playing a contributing role in our defense, doing what it needed to do. So that was good right there. So now I'm just going to break down mainly the pros and the cons. Even though I already started a little bit, let's just go more in depth. So the pros right there, obviously, the defensive line stopping the run was a pro right there. Another pro was Jalen Hurts' performance passing the ball right there. He was still efficient passing. I mean, even though with the strip sack fumble and all the other stuff we had to deal with, he still did a awesome job there when he was able to get the ball. If he got, he completed the passes he needed to. He helped keep momentum going. You had Devontae Smith was the lead receiver with 6 receptions, 78 yards on 9 targets. So Smitty was reliable here. So too was AJ Brown. He came into this game questionable, but hey, with his 7 receptions, he caught 5 of them for 60 yards. But he did have a fumble though, too. So that could have potentially cost us the game. Could have. So he's got to tighten up on that going forward. I know that's the first real mistake AJ Brown made all season, but so I'm not going to be too hard on him, but I'm just going to say going forward, got to tighten up. But so far, good defense stopping the run. Jalen Hurts passing right there. The good thing was we were able to pull off the comeback and get the win, obviously. And we came in down the fourth quarter, but we didn't quit. We still went out there and played to the last minute, and we handled our business and got the win that we needed to. So shout out to the team for doing that because I was starting to lose a little bit of hope coming into the fourth quarter. I was thinking, at the time, I'm thinking going into the fourth quarter, okay, what is this? Going to be like the 2020 Steelers where we get our first loss and we fall apart after that? Because that's what it felt like going into the fourth quarter, honestly. But then we managed to get it together and at least get the win. So obviously coming back's good right there. The cons of this were, I would say, honestly, the running backs. Because Miles Sanders, okay, he had an okay day, but he never really got going. His longest run was 10 yards. So he had 13 carries, 47 yards, longest of 10. But I was hoping that Miles Sanders would have done better running the ball because while Jalen Hurts, he was effective running too, 16 times, 86 yards in the rushing touchdown. So credit to Jalen Hurts for doing what he needed to do, both in the passing and the running game. However, I don't want Jalen Hurts to constantly be the lead rusher for this team as well as the quarterback. I mean, Jalen Hurts can make plays with his legs when he needs to, but I also want the running backs to be the lead rushers too. So I wasn't all too happy with that because I don't want this to be a constant trend over and over. And that's why I'm not too high on Miles Sanders as a long-term option at back. I mean, you'll get some good games from him. You'll get flash some brilliance here and there, but I never get that feeling like, okay, I can trust Miles Sanders to take the most carries and be most effective. I just don't have that trust in Miles Sanders. So I wasn't happy with that right there. Obviously, sloppy play was another con right there, which I already alluded to earlier. So I'm not really going to get into that right there. So those are the main cons right there. So yeah, obviously we did what we needed to do to get the W. And we did get a little bit of help from the Detroit Lions too, because the Giants got a loss against the Lions. That helped push them back a game. However, the Dallas Cowboys, it's kind of weird because the Cowboys did us a favor, but at the same time, you know, they did us a favor in helping knock the Vikings back a game to put us in sole possession of first in the NFC. But at the same time, they're still close to us in the division because we don't have because yes, they have 3 losses, we have 1, but you know what? They're still pretty close though. We don't have the division in the bags yet though. But yeah, I mean, so the Cowboys did us a favor in the fact that they beat the Vikings, but the way that team looked, I mean, credit to the Cowboys. That was an impressive performance. I got to give them that. And if they played that way against the Minnesota Vikings, that could be a sign that you don't want to sleep on the Cowboys. Even though I don't have them as the Super Bowl representative. No, I do not have the Dallas Cowboys going that far. However, what that game did show you though is if any team sleeps on the Cowboys come playoff time, they could regret it. In worst case scenario, that could be us possibly. Worst case scenario. So that right there also did have me a little bit concerned though that if somebody sleeps on the Cowboys, they could take advantage of it. Now, granted, it was one game too, though, so I'm not going to solely judge on it. But hey, it was a good game by them right there. In Washington won again. So Washington won against the Houston Texans. So that's not much of a statement win. But guess what? What came out of this week, beside the Eagles, obviously needing to brush up offensively and play more disciplined, and the fact that they showed that they can still escape with a win. And what I felt was kind of a sea level performance by the team was the fact that every team in the NFC East has a winning record. There is a possibility, not saying it's going to happen, but there is a possibility that all four teams in the division could make the playoffs right here. There is a possibility that could happen. Now, I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think as long as the Seahawks don't collapse, I think both the Niners and the Seahawks will find a way in the playoffs. And I think Washington will be the odd team out come playoff time with the seventh seed. That's how I'm thinking it's going to work right there. But seeing that, looking at the standings after this week and seeing, oh snap, all four teams have winning records. Some of these, we already lost to the Commanders, and we still got to play the Cowboys again and the Giants twice. Those are going to be some tough games right here. So, yes, even though we got the win, it's good for this week. But going forward, there's some things we're going to have to brush up on too. We got to brush up on some of these things, man, especially with playing more discipline, man. Because you can't, I mean, Tyree Jackson, he's going to be getting some more playing time, man, especially with Goddard on IR. Hey, he's going to have to step up right there. Now, to be fair, he hasn't played much, so obviously there was going to be some rust right there for Tyree Jackson coming into this game. But hey, you can't be making those mistakes right there, those penalties, and especially early in the game, because you had that second drive, absolutely ridiculous, back to back to back penalties, which pushed us back on a drive that if that doesn't happen, then maybe we do score in that on that second drive if that doesn't happen, possibly. But instead, all those penalty yardage just pushed us back, pushed us back, pushed us back, and pushed the first down marker further ahead and made it harder for us to get there. I mean, you take those penalties out the window, it's a possibility we get down the field and score some more points right there. So obviously we need to stop making those type of mistakes right there because you can't play the Colts and the Texans every single week, okay? You can't be playing, you're not going to play those teams every week. You're going to step up in competition. When you step up in competition as a team, you got to step up and play better. Okay? I mean, you saw, for example, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, how that, especially during the later years of the Big Ben era, how that cost them in big games come playoff time. Because they would struggle to put away teams they should have easily beat, it was hard for them to build up enough confidence for themselves headed into big matchups. And that was one of the things that hurt that Steelers team late in the late 2010s. So the point being is you don't want to be in a situation where you're narrowly escaping against teams you should easily be beating because that's not good for your confidence as a team going into big games. So obviously, I mean, I'm hoping that was just a fluke right there. I'm hoping the team realizes, okay, yeah, we got the win, but we can't. May have worked on this game, but it's not going to work going forward. We have to do a better job. We got to come in better, play more disciplines. I mean, seriously. Now the defense now with Sue and Joseph. Hey, you want to keep that going? then yeah, keep that going forward. That's the one thing from this game I'll definitely want to see continue. Now the corners, yeah, the corners weren't as strong as we're used to seeing. We didn't get any interceptions at all. And we did get when we're still on the subject of defense, I forgot to point out, shout out to Marcus Epps for stripping the ball there from Jonathan Taylor and helping him get possession. I forgot to mention that right there. Marcus Epps at least deserves props for that right there, where we're talking about the positive things our defense did. So I might as well get to that while I'm still talking about it. So salute to Marcus Epps for that play right there. Okay, so take the win, be happy with it, be happy you got the W, but going forward, as a team, we got to do better, obviously. So yes, so that's pretty much what I'm going to say right there. So obviously, we got the Packers next. That'll be on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field. So I will be back to talk about that Friday, same time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you on Thanksgiving, they're not really, don't if you get the chance to. So I will be doing on my channel exclusively a live play-by-play for the Giants and Cowboys game. So you can also check that out as well. So to everyone that tunes into this stream right here to give me for this recap, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting in the chat. Everyone that voted on my poll, thank you for voting on that poll right there. And in the meantime, though, between now and Thursday for my Nikki Steve's channel exclusive play-by-play for the Giants Cowboys, and then Friday my Eagles Packers preview, I will be dropping some shorts on my channel. So if you want to see what some of my takes are on Eagles and 76ers related subjects or other NFL and NBA related subjects, keep an eye on my channel for those shorts right there. See, that's all I really got to say right there. So thank you to everyone that tunes in. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Nikki Steve signing off for now, and I will be back soon.
Awesome power of nature. Hot excitement goes after you get struck by lightning. There's thunder.